Hi, I'm Brandy. This is Hound Dog Hollow, and today is the new moon in Sagittarius, the first day of the wolf moon lunar cycle. And so I am doing a live on a day that I don't normally do lives, and it's all about the hashtag wolf moon challenge that I'm starting on my media that I would love to share with you guys. I'm just getting it on my phone here. And I think I'm going to announce it on some other on media just really quick um, to share about what's happening, unless I see friends start to linger in. So sorry, this is kind of a delay. Um, um, let me see. It's sorry for the delay. It's kind of a weird thing because I am um not usually on at this time. So whereas on my regular day, which is Sundays, I usually have people come in right away. So hopefully a couple people will join. Hello, if anybody's there, you can comment. I'm just announcing that I'm live right now. But basically, I wanted to share a couple things, being that we are starting the wolf moon lunar cycle. And though some people call it the wolf moon, some people call it the cold moon, some people call it the long night moon, there's tons of different names for this lunar cycle. That's just what I identify with. So, anyway, the 14th of December, all the way through January 11th. It's going to be kind of an intense lunar cycle because hi, Kat, we are in the middle of eclipse season. And so, let me just get off of that. Sorry, Kat, I'm trying to do a million things at once. And when you try to do a whole bunch of, hi, Hannah, when you try to do a whole bunch of things at once, you end up being not very good at any particular thing. So, just want to make sure I'm up to date. Okay, I digress. So, a couple things. If you joined us not yesterday, Sunday, because we talked about Yule, but if you joined us the Sunday before last, you probably remember that we talked about the new moon in Sagittarius with a solar eclipse. I mean, honestly, you're probably feeling the energy because it has been pretty intense. And I've noticed many people on the pagan and witchy groups that I am a part of commenting about everything from anxiety to lots of energy to divination, like messages coming through. So it has been pretty intense for a lot of people so far. The basic energy here, because we're right in the middle of an eclipse season. So we have the lunar eclipse, a solar eclipse, and then a lunar eclipse is typically how this goes. And it comes at the end of 2020, which has been a really challenging year for many. And eclipse season also heralds a time when things are going to fall away, when things are going to die, when things are going to be released, when we're having a cosmic reset, so to speak. It intensifies the new moon energy, which is basically a reset on a smaller scale, so to speak, and a new beginning on a smaller scale. So when a solar eclipse happens on a new moon, it's a much vaster cosmic reset, more collective, bigger topics, bigger tropes and themes collectively for many of us. And so a couple things that I want to share with you guys. Number one, I'm doing a challenge. And so I'm doing a challenge for the lunar cycle, which is the wolf moon cycle. There'll be activities and tasks, and apparently there's a train passing by right now. With the aim being that we would come to this place where we are using lunar and astrological energy in our day-to-day life in a practical way, because I feel like I hear a lot from not just people commenting on my lives or my videos or my social media, or people that I see in my groups on social media, where many of us feel disconnected, or many of us get information and we don't know what to do with it. We don't know how to incorporate our practice into everyday living. And so that the aim of the challenge overall is to give people concrete ideas how they might do so. Because in my humble opinion, ritual is not all there is to being a witch, to being a pagan, to being however it is that you identify. It's more about the things that you do collectively and every day that really guide and direct your practice and your spiritual growth. So if you whip out a spell for a Sabbath, but you don't do anything until the next one, you're doing the best you can, and that's totally fine. But maybe you are interested in some ideas where you can connect with the divine every day. So I have some links in the description. It's probably this way, not this way, this way. Number one, to my live from not this last week, but the week before. If you wanted to go over all of the energy and the tropes, we are having, it's not just, it's a new moon. It's a new moon in Sagittarius. It's a solar eclipse. The moon is now waxing. Those are all different energies. Also, we're having the Great Conjunction coming up, which is a major energy shift that we will all feel as humanity. So it's a lot. And it comes at the end of a really challenging year. So that is part of the thing. Hi, Jeno. I mailed your package out. I waited for 45 minutes in line at the damn post office, and I got packages out and some Christmas cards. So yay. I'll be sending you a tracking number soon. But basically, that's what the live talks about. Some other resources that I've also linked is on my blog, on my webpage, hounddoghollow.com. I have done a couple of things. I have a lunar challenge blog, which is basically telling you, like, instead of me rambling, it tells you in my own words very briefly, like, what my intention is with this series. The second thing is the specific energy for the wolf moon, which if you don't, and not everybody likes lives, not everybody is getting the information that they need from the live because of the length or because of the way that I speak, or however it is that everybody learns different. And some people are readers and writers, and some people are listeners, and some people are kinesthetic. And so while I can't be with you, I can do a live where we speak and have a conversation, and I can write the information down, so I can hit 2 out of 3. I wish I could be with you, but I just can't. I'm so far away. But I digress. So it's a nice correspondence sheet on my page, the Wolf Moon. It's challenge, I think that's what it's called, page on my blog, and it just says, this is the correspondences, this is the energy, this is what it means, these are different names for the moon, and these are the main theme for the lunar cycle, which is December 14th through January 11th, and also the actual rules of the challenge. So I'm going to tell you the rules of the challenge, which is that I'm challenging you all and myself, because even if nobody does it, if I do it myself, then I'm still all the world better for it. So to spend at least 5 minutes a day reflecting, dreaming, goal setting. And that doesn't sound like a difficult challenge, except for that it is. Because what the whole point of this energy right now is that we are in a part where we should be, number one, reflecting on how 2020 has gone, reflecting on where we are, reflecting on how our life is, reflecting on what's happened, reflecting on all of that. But also with that big Sagittarius new moon optimism energy, we should be dreaming big. Like, where are we going? What do we want out of life? What does our ideal life look like? What does our ideal self look like, or act like, or show up in the world? What is our ideal future? Dream as if there is no limits, as if nothing could stop you. Just let it all out. And then you're going to balance that big dream about where you're going to go and how you want to live this life, this finite human experience that you have. You're going to kind of contrast it to where we are and how things are going. And then over the course of the cycle, you're going to say, this is where I'm going. This is where I am. And this is that I need to release to make space to get there. And that's really hard. I think that's harder than we give ourselves credit for, because I say it's a good moon for intention. I don't think you shouldn't. So, and again, I'm not a gatekeeper. This is not rules. I think for my personal practice, this is not a moon to, this is not a time right at this moment to start anything. This is not a time. The solar eclipse, and I talk about that in the blog. I lay it out because the first one's about the lunar cycle, but the next article that I have is about this specific part of the lunar cycle this week, which is the new moon in Sagittarius, the solar eclipse, and then transitioning into a waxing moon. As far as a solar eclipse goes, right? You have the moon is coming between the sun and the earth. And so where we would normally see sun, which is, the sun is your outside presence in the world, astrologically speaking, right? The sun is the self. And the moon is your subconscious, your conscious, your subconscious. Those are your parts, okay? Then this is symbolic to many people of a time when the energy that we would normally direct outward, we should point inward and do reflection, dreaming, goal setting, intention setting, introspection. This is a time to take all that energy and pull it in to see what it is that you're working with, to take a personal inventory. That's my personal opinion. If you want to, there's nothing stopping you per se, except for the fact that solar eclipse energy in general tends to be chaotic. So you may not get what you ask for, and you may have to be very, 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 very careful about how you ask for it, because you might say that I really want to focus on self-care, and then you get COVID, so that you have no choice but to sit at home with yourself and take care of yourself. That's the kind of thing that you don't know how it's going to manifest. So I would say, like, I'm cautious in the respect of my spiritual practice, in that, like, if things can be tricksy, I tend to err on the side of caution. Which is not to say that in the next day or two, as the moon begins or wax, and you start to see that blue, beautiful sliver of light in the sky, that is when that energy has dissipated a bit, and now the moon is waxing, visibly waxing. Things are growing. You can see that. You can feel that energy. Things are coming to you. Things are growing. It's a good time to attract. It's a good time to work at that point, in my personal opinion. You all should do what resonates with you. And there is always the important part of manifestation and intention, that sometimes if you want, dream, work hard enough, you can bring forth reality. You can create reality with your actions and your thoughts. And so if you absolutely must do something and you are dedicated and determined and devoted, I see no reason why you can't manifest something. I just think that it may or may not come out how you imagine. But sometimes even when you do it all the right times, the universe says, that's not how it's going to go. It's going to go this way. So it just my opinion. For right now, I'm using this time for reflection, for introspection, for dreaming, for planning, for just so much good energy, which is kind of one of my favorite things anyway, is like list making and thinking. The only thing is it's not always my favorite thing to be like, things didn't necessarily go my way, and what is my role in that? And to be honest, to be brutally honest, not brutally, you should treat yourself with respect, but to be very clear and frank with yourself about what you may or may not have done or thought or presented that created or manifested your current situation. Because when it comes down to it, we do create our reality with our perception. So to a certain extent, I do believe, and we say in my house, if your life sucks, it's because you suck. And that's a hard pill for me, for me to swallow, for anybody to swallow. And you have to go back and say, what am I doing here that is not giving me the result that I want? And when it comes, if you're doing the same old shit, you're going to have the same old life. And that's something that we all probably have to deal with. And that we are really good at pointing out in others, but very bad at noticing in ourselves. So that's why this is a really important time, because a lot of us get gung-ho and we just want to just manifest everything, and 2020 is going to be great. But if you don't look back at why everything is not the way that you want it to be, and acknowledge your role in that process, you may be prone to making the same mistakes again and ending up in the same place a year hence, 3 years hence, 20 years hence. And that's just something that I very firmly believe. So the Wolf Moon Challenge, hashtag Wolf Moon Challenge, as you guys work through the challenge, I want you to share it, the hashtag, on your, if you do a virtual response to me on YouTube, please tag me, do the hashtag Wolf Moon Challenge. I'll be watching all of those. If you do on Facebook or Instagram, tag me. I want to see it. If you just want to go onto my blog and comment about what you're doing, that's great too. Because while I said that the challenge that you're going to review for 5 minutes, you're going to reflect, you're going to dream, or you're going to set intentions for 5 minutes every day, how you do that is infinite. So you might say, I have 30 decks, and every day I'm going to ask a different deck to give me a message from the universe about what I need to consider as I'm planning my 2021. And maybe your divine feminine is going to say this, and maybe your ancestor deck's going to say this. Or if you're not into decks, maybe you're going to do a timed writing. So you're going to get yourself some paper, you're going to get yourself a pen, you're going to set a timer for 5 minutes, and you're going to say, if there was nothing, if there was no possible way that I could fail, what would I try? And write constantly for 5 minutes and see what that gives you. If you wanted to do a dream reflection where you write on a piece of paper, I want to dream about my life's purpose or my true path, or what should I focus on for 2021? And you can put it under your pillow, you can put it on your nightstand under a glass of water, and then focus on that as you fall asleep. And then in the morning, write down your dream, reflect on what you dreamt about, and how your subconscious or divine reached out to you in your dreams and answered that. Maybe you're just going to literally say, in 3 months, I want to buy a new iPad. So that's just my dream. That's totally reasonable as well. the fact of the matter is, I want you to spend some time, and I'm going to be challenging myself to do it also. Spend some time looking at yourself, at your life, and not just looking at it, like taking it in. What are your skills? What are you good at? What do you bring to the table? What things went well? What are some good qualities? What are some things you need to work on? If you had infinite time, what hobbies would you start? What skills do you wish you could learn? Where do you wish you could go? What's on your bucket list? Do you laugh enough? What kind of things make you feel optimistic? What kind of things make you feel curious? And I have not a ton of, but there is at least in the 2 articles that I posted 30 plus ideas in there for every day of the month. Different questions you could ask yourself, different ideas of things that you could do. Share them with me. That's what I would like to see. And I will share with you guys what I'm doing. There is a small prize at the end of the lunar cycle. So, and the way that you get entries for the prize is that every time you share a hashtag and share something that you did, either VR on YouTube or a post on Facebook with a picture of your morning draw, or your, just talking about what you did, or on Instagram or whatever, that'll be an entry. And at the end of this lunar cycle, I'll be drawing a name and getting a prize out to somebody. So I think that is a lot of information. If anybody has any questions, please let me know. I'm going to just pull up really quick my notes to make sure that I didn't miss anything. So let me just look at this. And I intend to do this with every lunar cycle for 2021 and longer if it goes well. But each time a different challenge based on the theme of that moon cycle, right? So just to reiterate, the moon turns new once again on the 14th of December in the sign of Sagittarius. This new moon is also a total solar eclipse that holds vast potential for your future. This is a powerful way to end 2020 and move into the new year ahead. Be sure to set very clear intentions during this new moon and take some kind of physical actions toward them in order to let them go into the universe. Then be on the lookout for opportunities that will align with you. On December 15th, Venus enters Sagittarius as well, which will bring a sense of optimism and warmth to your relationships. There is also a sense of luck shifting or good news coming your way. This time of year can be stressful for a lot of people, but let yourself be adventurous and fill your heart with joy. Focus on the memories you are creating for your loved ones. Venus in Sagittarius makes that easy to do. And it recommends Lumarian seed quartz. Can help you download memories and record them for the future. Place Lumarian quartz by your Yule tree or altar so you can capture the love and light you are spreading this season. And whenever you need a pick-me-up, hold this crystal close to your heart. So that's Spirit Double's recommendation. I also have a little planner here. This is a newer one, the review. Yay! I'm so glad, Hannah. The review is coming up in a few days. This is an inaugural moon planner from somebody who literally has the same sun, moon, and rising as me, and almost the exact same birth time, but a year before. So crazy. We're both Sun, Leo, Aquarius moon, Pisces rising, which is really rare because she's basically my star twin, which is pretty cool. So it makes sense too because I really like the flow of this pattern, of this planner. Okay, so we're just talking about, I know it is a rare find. I'm going to read to you some of the information. So, congratulations, you've made it through one of the most difficult years most of us have ever encountered. Seriously, take a moment to acknowledge that you did it. Not only did you survive a pandemic, political and social unrest, but you've probably also survived a big life change in your personal life. Maybe it was a divorce or a breakup, illness, death, birth, big move, career change, or a spiritual awakening. One of the lessons I think that we have all learned through this time is that things change and nothing is permanent. We have realized to cling tight to the things that really matter in our lives and appreciate the things we love, bring us joy, and what really matters. As humans, we want so badly for things to stay the same while everything else in nature relies on change. The seasons change and the plants and animals prepare and adapt for it. Winter will always come, but so will summer. Dark days will always come, but so will light. The moon gracefully demonstrates this change and teaches us about growth, death, and rebirth. When you start to pay attention to the moon, you will begin to recognize your own cycle reflected in it. The moon helps you get into your own rhythm and how to work with the different energies throughout the year so that you are in flow instead of in struggle. Speaking of struggle, and then she is talking about her personal struggle. Yay. Every time there's a new moon, it gives us an opportunity to start fresh. The last new moon of 2020 is the perfect opportunity to begin anew. Just like the fall leaves that decompose and enrich the soil, the lessons of 2020 fertilize the seeds that you're planting in 2021. Also, when was the last time you started something on the first day of the month and actually stuck? The new moon is a better and more efficient time to begin new habits or to set goals. In this planner, we're not only following the moon, but also the cycles of the earth. Winter is the time to go within, rejuvenate, and to celebrate family, home, and to cultivate love. Thank you for coming on this journey with me. I really do believe that everyone is capable of creating and living their best life, and that by connecting to the world around us inevitably connects you to yourself. And by connecting with yourself, you can then figure out what you want and can do what it takes to get you there. Everything is a cycle. You just got to grab onto the merry-go-round and hang on. It will either drag you in the dirt or you can jump on and ride. So let me see. It basically talks about how to use a planner, which I'm not going to go over because I literally have a planner review coming up. She goes for this 6-moon cycle. She has keyword charts. It's really, I go into it more. So this is cool. So she has all 6 months because it's a 6-month planner at first where you can put all your intentions. I don't know if you guys know. Many of you know because you've been watching me for a while. But one of my practices every new moon is to make an intention and to write it on a parchment and seal it in the envelope. And then I open the envelope in the full moon of the same sign. Because for me, I don't consider an intention that I start on a new moon to come to culmination or fruition in 2 weeks. There's very little in my life that's going to come to fruition in 2 weeks that I want. So I can't think of anything. I don't know. I'm fixing to ovulate, so maybe get pregnant, but I wouldn't even know it. That's just like not what I'm talking about. So if I make an intention today, when I make my intention today on Sagittarius, I will expect to review and see how it came to fruition or didn't necessarily come true the way that I wanted it to 6 months hence when the moon is full in Sagittarius. So in May, right? So that's why I kind of like this because you can have it all written down in one spot, which I really enjoy. So here's her forecast. Capricorn likes to hunker down for the winter and is very resourceful to make do with what they have and build it into something wonderful. This time of year is about staying warm and cozy indoors, getting to know yourself, and keeping your loved ones close. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and they both like discipline. Don't let that word scare you. Discipline simply means student, or disciple simply means student. We are all just students learning how to live on this planet. I see discipline as learning and figuring out what works best for you and forming structure around it. Following the moon and planetary energies are just like signposts pointing you in the right direction. The more you pay attention, the clearer and louder the signs will be. So it's funny that she mentions Capricorn because technically at this point we're already in Capricorn. The moon is no longer a new moon in Sagittarius. The moon was new at 8:16 this morning in Sagittarius, but shortly thereafter it changed into Capricorn. So we are technically in a new moon, but the energy is Capricorn, although we don't call it the new moon in Capricorn because the new moon in Capricorn would be when the sun and the moon are conjunct or in the same sign. So the sun is still in Sagittarius and we typically consider the new moon to be in that same sun sign. So while we're in Capricorn, the energy is still a new moon in Sagittarius energy for my practice. You can do however resonates with you. So the winter solstice, she's talking about there will also be a solar eclipse on the new moon. This is when the sun and earth are in alignment and the moon temporarily will block the light of the sun. New moon energy combined with solar eclipse energy amplifies the fresh start that we've been waiting for. This energy will carry out until the 21st for Yule, which represents the new moon phase in the wheel of the year. Yule marks the shortest day and the longest night of the year. We are moving out of the dark moon that started at Halloween. Dark moon is a time to hibernate, slow down, and rest. However, we tend to do the opposite as we are leading into the holiday season. Really use this time to go within and get clear messages about what you want to set your arrow on for 2021. And there's actually, if you follow this person, I'm going to actually put it in the description below. She does a meditation for right now where to help you kind of get an idea where you're going and to maybe come up with your word of the year. So keywords for this week would be exploration. I also have keywords on my channel as well, on my page. We're really about, so when we say exploration, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, expansion, knowledge, learning, travel, higher education, philosophy. So that's why this is definitely, it's a good idea. You can definitely get outside. You can try something new. You can be spontaneous, but you can also quest, plan, make goals, dream big, and things like that, which is what the way that I am choosing to do this, to reflect on this. Have you guys set intentions? Have any of you guys done your ritual work yet? I did my dark moon work last night, which for me is like an exfoliating ritual bath where I just have a purification bath and I scrub the last residual of the old moon cycle. Physically, I scrub my skin and I exfoliate and I do all of that. And as it goes down the drain, that's the last vestiges of that moon cycle being washed away. I haven't done my work for this moon, for the new moon yet. I haven't set an intention. Probably for me, the work is going to be setting an intention and doing divination. Ooh, how did it go for you? I'm trying to think, like, I guess I would do, yeah, that's a great idea. Perfect. And that's always the balance, right? But I feel like so often, and please don't take this the wrong way, but so often as females or as moms or as, I identify as female, and I feel like sometimes our society puts a lot of pressure on female identifying humans to sacrifice and to give and to put ourselves last so that we can care and nurture and take care of others. So it's I find very challenging to balance my need to take care of myself and my need to take care of everything else. And I'm going to say that at least it's everything else. And I'm proud because it used to be much more than that, but it's still a lot to balance. Ooh, that's wonderful, Jen. That's really good self-care. And also, like, I definitely think that's super good. Ooh, I think that's really good. Awesome. I kind of had a spa day last night. I do it like I was talking about, but I love that self-care, that self-focus, and maybe something that you can reflect on over this lunation is like, what does really taking your care of yourself look like? What does putting yourself first look like? What do you want? Not what everybody else wants, but what do you want for yourself, out of your life, for your future? Maybe that's a really effective that you could look at. Yeah, Hannah, I'm really blessed because my husband has been just like doing so much lately, just so much. So I'm really blessed that way. For me, my challenging thing is my work, which obviously is sucking me dry because we're in a pandemic and I'm a nurse and they just have to take and take and take and take and take and take and take. Not because they're bad people, but because the need is just so massive. So that's been exhausting. Ooh, girl, Jen, you did some great. That's awesome. Both of you guys, I'm so happy that you got that work done. I'm super interested in how, yeah, and I'm on the other spectrum of that, Hannah, where my husband's a stay-at-home parent, and sometimes I do get really pissed off because I'm like, why is this not done? And why is this not done? And why is this not done? And why is this not done? But at the same time, balancing the needs of a little tiny tyrant, my kid, is hard. And then he makes Christmas happen and he takes care of all the animals and he takes care of all the property and he's trying to, you know, arrange Christmas presents, build things, take care of, and we have a lot of animals. So he's trying to do all this stuff. It's just that there's an infinite amount of stuff. And my view is that, like, I want these things done. And his view is like, these things are actually urgent and I will get to that when I can get to that. So I'm trying to be better about not being so demanding, but it does make it hard because I sit here and I think a bunch of myself out in the community and my house is a mess, or and my son is not getting, like, the school thing is a whole different situation because probably life would be completely different if my child could go to school, but that's neither here nor there. It's hard. I know. I acknowledge that being a stay-at-home parent is hard, and I acknowledge that our views of what the working partner expects from a stay-at-home parent may be unfair. The e-learning is stressful. I'm not even a stay-at-home parent, but I do stay home for his school. But my husband is transitioning to taking over more as everybody's getting used to it. But at first, it was a nightmare. Terrible. Yeah, keeping the house clean is not even something that I care about. My main thing, well, that's not true. I care about it when it gets so bad that I'm like, why is that a fucking mess? I'm tired. I don't have any uniforms. Such a dick. I'm sorry, baby. I love you. Oh, cat. Yeah. I feel like there's always so much to do. And some of the things, no, many of the things are not nourishing their busy work. And so that's how I feel like we get exhausted and burnt out. Oh, my kid is pretty demanding. He's a Capricorn with an Aries moon and a Leo rising. And so, like, he needs a lot of attention. And my husband can't even poop without him being like, where are you? What are you doing? I need this. What, help me. And it's just like, oh my God, you can take care of yourself for the time that it takes to go potty. Bobo. 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 There you are. You so cute. um, Golly. I hope that you guys have a good lunation, and that we get oh my god, it is hard. It's hard having any humans. I'm done with humans. Dogs are way easier. Not really. This one here is very old and he's very sick, and so he doesn't have control of his bodily functions, which my husband is a saint because he cleans it all up, because I just want to barf when I see it, and my husband is constantly cleaning it, and it's a lot. But I feel like the way that you treat your pets as they get ready to cross the rainbow bridge is really an important thing that you're showing your children. And so even though he's really inconvenient and stinky and difficult and just takes all this extra care, like, it's really important for my husband and I to give him the best possible sunset, and to show our son about devotion, sacrifice, and giving others grace and dignity. And it's exhausting because it's not easy to know when you're keeping them alive for their sake or for your sake. And so that's the really challenging area that we're in right now, because he's really, really sick. And so it's just every day is like, is this going to be the day? I don't know. And, they waste away and they get emaciated, and it gets more and more obvious that it's certainly very close, but not exactly the Christmas dilemma that you want for your 5-year-old. It is. And the worst part is that you're human and you get frustrated and you get mad. But then you feel almost immediately guilty and ashamed that you're frustrated and mad. And it's just like, so it's emotionally exhausting in watching something you love deteriorate. But it's also like an inner battle with your own self-perception about how do you show up when the being that you love is taking so much more than they can give. And it's a very good foreshadowing for when your parents get old and die, or if your loved one gets very sick and you have to care for them. And what I can say without a shadow of a doubt is that my husband shows up. Is that he shows up and he's devoted and he does the terrible, stinky, nasty, difficult to the bitter end. And that, for what it's worth, is a comfort beyond measure. And I appreciate my son seeing that behavior being modeled. So even when things are bad, there's still a silver lining, because everybody raising children, or who has raised children, or who just has an impact on children, however your life is, modeling these very important ethical behaviors is very valuable for raising your child. And you just have to kind of roll with the opportunity as it goes. And most of us want to, like, there are some people who definitely want to shelter their children from death and from cancer and from these unpleasant aspects. We are not like that at all. Obviously, because we live on, we have so many animals that many of them get killed or eaten or processed, so he has experienced death of our different critters. I think the hardest ones for him are the little chicks or goslings that pass away. Those are really, really hard for him. Because when a gosling or a chick dies, you have that one moment where something rapidly gets sick and dies. When you have a pet that has been here his whole life, who is deteriorating in such a way, it's a long, drawn out affair of misery. And there it is. I don't know how we got on that topic. I'm so sorry for, yes, definitely. I'm so sorry for going on a tangent because I wanted to keep this optimistic. So there is so much good and so much potential um, in each of us and in the world, and that sometimes is hard when people are not necessarily showing up the way that we would hope that they would, and when we're not showing up the way that we hope that we would show up. But I want to remind you that this is the time to really try to look at the bright side, try to look at the best of things, try to harness that good rose colored view of yourself, of the world, of the future as you dream of what's possible. Because we're going to be transitioning into, different moon cycles and a period of release after the full moon lunar eclipse, and on into a new lunar cycle that comes with Capricorn, which is all about responsibility and getting shit done. So for me, this is the part where you're building those dreams and that you're harnessing that optimistic energy of Sagittarius, that free spirit, that expounding boundaries, expounding consciousness, learning, growing, just all of those really good things. That's what Sagittarius represents. Harness that energy and dream big about what you want for your life, for yourself, for your kids, for your family, for your future, whatever it is. That's what I want you guys, that's what I wish I want to leave you guys with, focusing on. Those wonderful things. They're available to all of us if we work on manifesting that. But I don't think that we can manifest to our fullest potential if we are not dreaming big, because it's really easy for us to put limitations on ourselves and what we can do. And most of that limitation is not just your own subconscious talking. Most of it is messages that you're getting from your upbringing, from your culture, from the media. You're getting all these messages about what you should do, what is right to do, how you should act, what is expected, what is normal, all of those messages. And most of that is just noise. It's not actually your intuition or your spirit saying like, but actually we need this. And actually this is, and actually we were meant for this. God, Jen, I'm trying to think. I was reading, so I'm researching astrology and stuff as I've already done a lot of work. I feel pretty good. I'm not an astrologer in that I track transits and stuff going on, but as far as it works to in deciphering your personal self and your psychology, I'm at least intermediate about that. And one of the perils of having a lot of really positive aspects in your natal chart is that you get content and happy so easy that you get comfortable in a place that isn't exactly where you're meant to be. You are meant for more. And so sometimes when you have a lot of challenging aspects or when you have a lot of adversity, it shakes movement into your life where you have to grow, you have to change, you have to evolve. And while it's painful, the evolution happens at a much quicker pace because you have an outside or inside motivator saying like, we must get this done, things have got to change, I'm unhappy. Like, so the challenge is real. Complacency is still a real challenge, and it's something that I think all of us go through in some aspect or another. And so I want you to challenge yourself. I want you to challenge yourself to dream bigger, even if everything is great, which had at the end of last year, if you had asked me about this same concept I would have been pretty complacent too, because I was super happy. I am super happy. Things are happy, but I had a lot of adversity that really jarred me and said, like, okay, but it's not enough. This is not acceptable. This year has been really good about exposing the rot underneath the veneer of beauty and acceptability. And some things are rotten. And even though you're going to have to pull up that beautiful outside veneer, you get to the nasty part and you can dig that shit out and let it go. And then things can grow back cleaner and better for it. Which is just a metaphor saying, like, yes, things may appear really well, but are they really? That's what I want to challenge myself and all of you. Like, is this really good enough? Is this really where you're meant to be? If you die tomorrow and you met your maker, could you stand before them and feel like you did the best that you possibly could? And for the most part, I think so. That goes into one more topic that I wanted to share with you guys. I also included my playlist for the lunar cycle, and so for me, music is actually really important for my spiritual work, and it's all secular music. I don't listen to what, I don't know which music would be. I make a playlist of 13 songs every lunar cycle to help me work through what it is that I'm feeling. This lunar cycle is because of the optimism and because of the dreaming big about the future. I pick songs that make me feel good, that make me feel powerful, that speak to the major things in my life. So there's a lot of songs about my love for my partner, my love for my son. There's songs about like just being happy and being grateful. It's just, that's how I connected, and listening to it really take 5 minutes or however long it's going to take you to make a playlist and think about like what makes you feel like you're living your best life is what I was kind of trying to navigate. And one of the songs on there is Best of You by Foo Fighters. And it's something it's a song that often makes it onto my lunar playlist, although I've been more strict lately about trying not to repeat the same song more than once in a season, which has made it a lot more challenging because I used to have a lot of Stevie, Sade, Coheed, and Foo Fighters. That was my like list, and maybe one or two songs would change a month. But so you can take that song two ways. So when sometimes we say somebody's getting the best of us, like they're taking advantage of us, like they're pulling one over on us. The song plays out to me, and there's certainly a part of it at the beginning of the song. I think that's how it sounds like it's gonna go, but then we get to the Coheed is my favorite. I have two Coheed tattoos. Then we get to the point where it's actually like, is somebody getting the best parts of you? Are you really showing up for somebody? Are you really giving your all to somebody? And I love to sit and reflect on that. Like, is my husband getting the best of me? Is my son getting the best of me? Is he getting the best that I can give him? Am I giving myself the best that I can? Am I giving I have glory. Hang on to the glory at my right hand. Here laid to rest is our love ever long. So that's this one. And then I have the Heaven's Fence on my back, which is big, and I would have to take off my shirt. Hi, Rochelle. So find a song or a playlist. I have 13 songs that speaks to you in a way that helps you grow, think, meditate. That song never fails to pull me into a reflection. I mean, I'm singing at the top of my lungs and I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. That's what I love about music. There's a magic there in the harnessing of that energy, of that emotion. And then I can harness that to reflect. I can harness that to do better. I can harness that to, I don't know, it's limitless. It's limitless. So even when I'm angry, like feeling so for me, music is very spiritually motivating. It me raise that energy to release out into the universe to manifest. Because I feel music deeply. And some people do, and some people do not. Some people just enjoy music. But everything from like all of the music and the poetry of the words and everything put me in a meditative state where I can feel very profoundly what it is that the song is talking about and harness that energy to manifest what I'm working on. And that's what the playlist is about. Exactly. So like my favorite song, and it's going to be so cliche because obviously I don't do the TikToks, but I know that Stevie has made a resurgence on the TikTok. I've loved Stevie since before my son was born. and when I was a kid too, but I didn't realize that was that Fleetwood Mac. I don't know. I just didn't think about it in those things. Obviously, if you grew up listening to the radio as a kid in the 80s and 90s, you heard Fleetwood Mac. And what song, like, I swear, if I pulled it up, it would be one of my most played songs ever on my playlist is Dreams. And that one, no matter what, literally never fails to put me in that space where I just feel a deep emotional connection and I can harness that energy without fail. And so that's probably one of the things that I always get into the habit of using that song because it's very easy for me to get into that space and raise energy with that song. Sade is really, really good. Sade is really, really good for me, raising energy. But I like a lot of rock and I like a lot of I like some country. So it's all on there. But whatever it is that you like that helps you raise energy, that puts you into that space. And maybe it's the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and maybe it's Celtic bagpipes or Scottish bagpipes, and maybe it's Beyonce. I don't know. Whatever it is, I recommend that for you guys. Stephanie, what's your favorite Coheed song? Music is sometimes too emotional for me, but just think about secularly how a lot of us, and this is a trope that you'll see in magazines and movies and books, that if we're feeling sad, we like to listen to sad songs, right? Coheed and Cambria is my favorite band, Rochelle. Oh, Rochelle, I mailed out your package. I gotta send you the tracking number. I got all the giveaway boxes out. Yay! So that's kind of, and I've talked about this before. Oh, well, it kind of is a romantic song. I mean, it is about his wife. So I walked down the aisle to In Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth when I got married. Yeah, Taylor Swift has some good stuff. I love Three Doors Down too. They have some really good stuff. I like Ticket to Heaven and Road 'Em On are good ones. Yeah, it was really beautiful. It was so beautiful. And the other day it was playing and I was like, what's the significance of this song? And my husband remembered, which obviously I don't know why I would thought he would forget. But he listens to a lot of Coheed just because I do. But his favorite is Century the Defiant. It is. I love it. What I'm saying is it's just another idea for how you might reflect and harness this energy. So basically, hashtag Wolf Moon Challenge, 5 minutes a day, reflecting, dreaming, intention setting, however that happens to you. Is it a tarot draw, oracle draw, some other form of divination, timed writing exercise, dream work? Maybe you're going to go for a walk in the forest and you're going to look for signs. You're going to look for maybe birds will come to you. The other day I saw a bald eagle surrounded by 5 crows eating a carcass on my way to work. Very bizarre. I crashed my car because I was like, but it was so amazing. So just for people who are coming in now, I just want to say I have a lot of links in the description below. The links are for my Get Ready With Me for the new moon. If you guys didn't catch it, it's there. All the content for the Wolf Moon Challenge is on my page, and I left links there as well. So just an overview of the lunar challenges, a correspondence sheet, and the overview for the challenge as a whole. So for the Wolf Moon, correspondences, energy, ideas, and the rules. The rules are at least 5 minutes a day in self-reflection, in dreaming and planning, and in goal setting and intentions. That's the theme. However that happens for you. Every time you share it, either via VR on YouTube or a post on Facebook or a post on Instagram, do hashtag Wolf Moon Challenge and tag me, and that will count as an entry for a prize at the end. I don't think of it as a big prize, but it will be a nice prize, I think. It's always nice to get a free present. Wow, I love ravens too. I love ravens. I like, it's hard to say if they were ravens or crow because eagles are so big. He just looked very, very big and they looked very small, but it could have been ravens. We have both, to the best of my knowledge, in the Pacific Northwest. So that's the challenge. The next article is the week 1 update for the Wolf Moon Challenge. It basically talks about new moon energy, new moon in Sagittarius specifically energy, solar eclipse energy, and the energy of the waxing moon. And it gives you correspondences and tons of ritual ideas, prompts, and like little tasks that you can do. Any of the tasks count as self-reflection. I think some of them are like make a bucket list. Where would you like to travel to? Just like make a goal for a short-term goal, a long-term goal, a medium-term goal. I love that, Rochelle. I love little murders of crows. Yeah, that's true. It's always, I think crows have, do crows have a black beak or not? I think crows do not have black beaks. I don't know. Ravens have black beak for sure. And they're way bigger, but it's hard to know from afar, especially like, because I think the main difference on appearance is size, but I'm not an expert. Does anybody, and I've already asked this, but any of the people who have just come in, did you already do your work for today? Have you done are you going to do any work today? Are you going to set an intention maybe? I still haven't. I'm going to probably do it in a little while. It's probably going to be divination and journaling. I already did my dark moon ritual bath yesterday. So at this point, I'm spiritually empty, and I want to, not empty, but like cleansed of the last cycle. I want to like spend some time dreaming and divining, and that sounds really good and yummy. Bye, Rochelle. Don't worry. There's plenty of time. There's plenty of time. There's all the time in the world. Thank you for stopping by. Have a wonderful night. Well, I think that we're dying down. I so appreciate, sometimes I just want to do live just to chat with people, but it's a little bit hard because you never know what other people are doing. And have to do Zoom so much for work that I have like now an aversion to it. Which is a little bit better because at least you can see the other people. But I digress. Anyways, I just wanted to share with you guys that there's a challenge. I look so forward to any entries that you guys decide to share with me. And you can share the information with friends that you think would enjoy this challenge and send them my direction, either to my YouTube or my Facebook or Instagram or my blog. And hopefully they will get something out of this content that helps them grow and learn. There should be plenty of reviews coming up for, let's see, I did the Witch's Moon unboxing today, but there's also a few more planners. I got a new deck that I'm probably going to review. In a couple days, I'll do every Wednesday's a book review. Oh, thank you. And just check out that information and hopefully it helps you. And I will hopefully learn how to send a newsletter out via MailChimp. I hope. It's definitely a learning curve. Oh, I see. Yeah. And I'm slowly putting more and more things in the shop for resale. Nothing serious, just as I go through my stock. I'm gonna try and get through my incense and sacred smoke today, and then over the course of the next few days, I'm gonna try and pull out all the. I think people voted that they wanted to see next, which is a lot, so much. I gotta find it. I here. And of course, Christmas. There's always Christmas. It's coming. You have to do stuff. So please, if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. I love you guys. Have a good day. Really think about like that limitless potential that we have in ourselves and how we can manifest that into our day-to-day lives, because I know 2021 is going to be a better year. It's going to be a better year. And we can make it so. Not just for us, but collectively. And what are we going to do? Good night, guys. Have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.